We maggots live not long. We hope more life, work, kill. Maybe queens notice. Maybe they share the old blood. We are maggots, but eventually, even maggots can fly.
In the words of Utico, hey there, Sparky, and welcome in. It's Vashin711 here, and I'm going to cover a topic in Warframe and do a how-to in multiple parts on Kuva liches. Now, I know what a couple of you veteran players are thinking. You just got shivers up your spine. You hate that word, and that's okay. I understand. Some of you baby tennos might not be there yet, and might not understand what a lich is. If you don't want spoilers, save my videos to your page and come back later. If you haven't done a lich yet and you're curious about it, let's watch and you'll learn here how to do them, how I do them. I have about 19 lich kills under my belt. I love to do liches. I love puzzles, I love different things, so everything about the liches and their secret mechanics and little quirks, let's call them, that some players might not like, I really enjoy, and I'd like to help everyone out to make lich hunting a bit of a better experience for everyone. So let's get started. This is part 1 of a multi-part series. In part 1, we are going to cover the requirements for a lich. We are going to cover the weapons that you can get. We are going to cover what progenitors are. And we are going to cover spawning your lich and starting the whole process. So, let's start with the requirements. The requirements for a lich are that you have to be MR5. You need to have completed the War Within quest, and you need your own railjack. Now that we know the requirements, let's head on over to the codex and let's look at the weapons. So if you go to your weapons category and you search up Kuva, it'll pull up all the weapons that you can get from a lich. Now the ones with Kuva in the name are your lich weapons. You have everything from primaries to secondaries to melee to even 2 archguts in there. So think about the weapon you want to get before you go in to start your lich. Now, let's talk progenitors. Baby Tenno, you're probably sitting there asking me, what the heck is a progenitor? So I'm going to throw the progenitors up on screen for you now. These are your progenitors. Your warframes are broken down into 7 different categories of different elements that can influence the weapon. The warframe that you use to mercy kill your larvaling will be the progenitor for your weapon. So you need to think about what warframe you want to spawn your lich with to influence what element you're putting on your weapon. So, now that we've talked weapons and progenitors, and you have an idea of what you want on your weapon, let's cover spawning the larvaling. I'm going to be using Site 09, and I'm going to be going after the Kuva Ghoul Saw. So it will have magnetic damage on it. The requirements for the Lich are met. I have a Railjack, I am past MR5, and I have completed the War Within. The mission itself has to be a level 20 plus Grineer mission. I personally have a favorite Grineer mission over here on Saturn. It's this capture here, Cassini, 21 to 23. It fits the requirements, and personally, I enjoy capture missions for this. Now you want to make sure you're on solo. Honestly, it's the easiest when you're on solo, because you're not worrying about anybody else. So throw it on invite only or solo and hop into Cassini.
You are here on a capture mission. You must find, capture, and extract our target.
Now when you load in, you just want to complete the mission as normal. You're going to go and find your capture target.
Capture them quickly before they escape.
Capture him.
The capture target has vital information that we will need to extract. We need our subject brought back alive.
And wait.
Excellent work. We'll interrogate the captive back at base.
A little
Your
trigger.
part is
See
done
that
here,
light
now.
flash? That light flash starts a 30-second timer to kill 15 enemies. You'll know you've done this when a message appears on screen.
Inform the queens we have found their subject.
That's the message we're looking for right there. This then spawns your larvaling and puts a waypoint on them. So you want to head towards that waypoint. Now sometimes the lights will flash and the event will trigger after you capture the target. Sometimes you have to move towards extract. So now that I've found my larvaling, I'm going to down them, and I'm going to look at them. This larvaling has the Tonkor, not the weapon I'm looking for. So, now I'm going to head to extraction. Some veterans think you can abort the mission here. But, to quote a famous South Park ski instructor, if you abort when you shoulda extracted, you're gonna have a bad time. And what I mean by that is the game actually tracks what weapons you skip over without mercy killing your larvaling. It only tracks it when you extract from the mission. So if you abort the mission, it's going to keep that weapon in the rotation instead of giving you the other weapons
There's a heavy unit approaching.
until
I'm detecting a large security force heading your way. It's
you
the Grineer.
cycle through all of them. Or abort. The minute you abort, you reset the cycle. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and we are stabbing our Kuva Lichling. And then we get out of the mission. This one had the ghoul saw. And once extracted, this will pop
Your
up.
dismemberment of me has not resulted in a conventional outcome.
And you have yourself a lich.
Your dismemberment of me has not resulted in a conventional outcome.
Alright. So that's part one. We've covered what the requirements are, the weapons, the progenitors, and how to get your lich. I hope this helped, and I'll see you in the next part, Tennos. Hey there, Glinty. You made it to part 2 of my Lich video. Good job. Alright, so this part, we're going to go over what the Lich missions are, what the tax they take from your missions are, the murmurs that you get for mercy killing their thralls, the frustration level of your Lich, as well as how many thrall will come from a mission, and what to do if your Lich comes out during your mission and you do not want to move them from the planet. So first I'd like to address the fact that my Lich has an ephemera. The smoke coming off of it is the ephemera. Each different progenitor of each type can result in one different ephemera for the Lich. So you have a small chance of your Lich spawning with an ephemera. So you fashion framers out there, if you're looking for some new ephemeras, and my Lich video helps, you can score yourself 7 different new ones. So your Lich controls a planet, and any of the missions marked by the Lich symbol will be one of the missions for the Lich. This one is an exterminate. When I click on it, it shows both the Lich version and the regular version. The Lich version is obviously harder, and you load in, and you get Thrall within the mission to build up the Requiem mods you need to defeat your Lich. And that's the importance of the Lich missions. Now, any planet your Lich is on, they will take a 7% tax of everything they take from your mission and the end results. They can take anything from mods to anything you pick up, resources. So make sure you see what they take and realize you will get it back once you defeat your Lich. So let's load in and see how it goes. So when you load into your mission, you'll see a second mark other than the objective. These red marks are the thralls that spawn for the Lich. These thralls, when mercied, will build up a part of a circle. Once that circle is filled, it will reveal one of the 3 different Requiem relics that you need for defeating your Lich. So as you see, when I mercy this thrall, it'll read Requiem Murmur, and a small part of that circle is filled in. Now, upon defeating the thrall, you also have a chance of them to drop what's called a Requiem Relic, which you need to get the mods to slot onto your Parazon for the Lich. So we're going to continue this mission and keep getting thrall. Now, naturally, you can spawn a total of 10 thrall in the mission without your Lich spawn. Your Lich can also spawn 10 if he appears within the mission. He or she. The issue being, if the 10 have not spawned in the mission, naturally, the 10 that the Lich can spawn count. So ideally, in the perfect mission, you can get a total of 20 thrall to spawn. Now, this varies from different types of missions. If you run out of enemies in the mission, like, say, a defense mission, before the 10, you will not get 10. Now that we're extracting, you'll see that the Lich has stolen some of my items. Some credits, some ferrite, and some rubido. Now they can, like I said, they can take anything from mods to the credits to the resources. So pay attention, but you will get it all back once you defeat them. Now, I'm not going to make this part as long as my first part, but I'd like to go into the frustration level. The frustration level will show you how likely your Lich is to appear during a mission. The frustration level is listed under its abilities here. It's the bar that says indifferent. As you mercy kill more and more Thrall, the bar will build, and it has a chance for your Lich to appear during the mission. Now, if you don't want to move your Lich from a different planet, all you have to do is down your Lich 3 times, and they will disappear from the mission. It will spawn another 10 Thrall for you. So during missions where you can have the Lich out, where you're comfortable with the Lich being out and doing things, and transforming more men into Thrall, leave it out till it does that 10. For missions like defense, I'd recommend getting rid of your Lich as fast as you can so it does not affect the defense point. Your Liches, depending on the progenitor, have different abilities, and if your Lich can cause radiation status to you, that will activate friendly fire, and you have a chance of downing your teammate, as well as destroying the defense target by accident. So do be careful with what abilities your Lich has. Your Lich abilities are listed here. It has 4, so pay attention to what statuses it can cause to you. The big thing about the Lich is if you finish every mission node on the planet that has the Lich missions, it will automatically move to the next planet. A Lich will move from Earth to Mars to Ceres to Sedna, and then maxing out at level 5 at the Kuva Fortress. As it goes up in level and moves from planet to planet, it will get stronger. So keep track of how strong it is. And if you need help, make sure you ask a friend or ask in chat for help with your Lich. Now, for part 3, I'm going to devote a whole part to the Parazon mod. So we're going to come back when I have 2 of the 3 Requiem mods shown for part 3, and I will explain my tips for figuring out the order of your Requiem mods. So we'll go over that in part 3. Thank you for joining me for part 2, and see you in the next one, Tenno. And remember, we all lift together. Rap, tap, tap. Rap, tap, tap. Rap, tap, tap. Hey there, kiddo. Welcome to part 3 of my Lich video, where we're going to spend the whole time on the Parazon and the Requiem mods, because I feel like this is where most people get frustrated, and some people have some misunderstandings. So let's make a deal, and I'm going to teach you how to do this, or at least how I do it, and maybe it'll make this easier for you guys, and you'll be able to enjoy fighting your Lich. So first things first, I know 2 of my 3 Requiem mods from defeating my Thrall. I have Jau and I have Vom. You'll see I've slotted both here in the 2nd and 3rd slot. For the one I don't know, I always slot Ul, the mod that mimics any Requiem mod, in the 1st slot. Now let's talk about Ul for a second, because I feel like there are some misunderstandings with it. When it says it mimics any Requiem mod, it will mimic the one in the slot that you have. Meaning, if the 1st slot was Jau, it'll be Jau. If it's Vom, it'll be Vom. Even if I have these 2 already slotted. Because most people know that you can't slot the same mod. So, see, I have a Foss here, and if I try to slot a 2nd Foss, it wouldn't let me. But even if I have Jau and Vom already slotted, this could still turn into them because that slot is supposed to be Vom or Jau. Your attempts will be tracked here when you mercy your Lich. So, in a mission, you're going to down your lich. You can walk up to it and press your mercy button, whatever it is. PlayStation, it's square. On PC, I'm not sure. And Xbox, I believe it would be X. I'm sure if it mimics the controller. For PlayStation, so you're going to go up and you're going to push your button for mercy, whichever it is. You're going to stab your lich, and it's going to read your mods from left to middle to right. So you're going to stab it, it'll read the left one. If that is correct, your fight with the lich will continue. If it is incorrect, say you didn't have Ool slotted and you put something else in, your lich will disappear from the mission and move to the next planet in the sequence and level up and get stronger. So, like I said, what I do is I put Ool in the first slot to guarantee that the first time I stab the lich will be correct. Then you down the lich again, and it will read the middle slot. It would read, in my case, Ja'u. If it is correct, the fight will continue. If it is incorrect, it'll put a slash, and like I said, the lich will disappear. That would be tracked here in this empty space where it says Requiem attempts are tracked here. It'll show a blank one for Ool because it will not show you what mod is in the Ool slot. I believe it does this so you can't just summon your lich, stab it with an Ool, and know your mods without learning them from the thrall. It'll put anything that is in the incorrect slot with a slash through it. But if this was correct, I would down the lich one more time and stab it again. Now, if this sequence I have showed Vohm was incorrect, that means I would just need to switch the Vohm and Ool mods. Now, let's say that the second one was correct. Now, let's say that the second one was incorrect. I would then move Vohm to the middle and Ja'u to the last to test to see if Vohm was in that spot. My lich would then move planets, and I would go through the sequence of irritating the lich by going through missions and mercying their thrall and completing their missions until the lich would appear in one of the missions and do the whole sequence again. Now, if it showed that this was incorrect in the middle slot, I would then take one of the mods, put it in the first slot, and test Ool in the middle. Because I know that Vohm and Ja'u were incorrect in the middle, so the middle slot is the one I don't know. This is very much a guessing game with your lich. And like I said, I think this is the part that people irritate the most and get frustrated the most with, because of the fact that this is very much a guessing game and there's not a lot of ways to just brute force through it. But don't worry, Tenno, because as you level up your lich, yes, it gets stronger. It moves through the planets, Earth to Mars, to Ceres, to Sedna, to the Kuva Fortress. It will stay on the Kuva Fortress at level 5. Now, to get these mods, the Requiem mods, you will get relics for them dropped by your thrall. This one specifically. These other ones can be bought from the vendor in the Iron Wake, as well as something called a Requiem Ultimatum that can be equipped to your gear slot. which will force the lich out automatically. Doesn't matter how it's irritated it is or anything, it will just force it out and make it come out no matter what. So I recommend on stocking up on these if you are planning to take on a lich. You can only buy one a week with riven slivers. So think about that as you're building up to doing your lich. I hope this helped, Tenno, and I would love to see you in the next one for when I fight my lich, and hopefully send it to the Railjack mission. Remember, Tenno, we all lift together, and if you have any more questions, leave them in the comments. Alright, Tenno, the wait is over. I finished off the lich and sent it to the Railjack mission. So it's time. I'll show you here that it took me 2 tries to get it because I accidentally had left the mods slotted the way I had left them instead of having Ool in the first slot when I was showing off for part 3. So this is part 4, the final confrontation. As you can see, this was the correct ways my mods were. Ool, Jau, and Vom. Now, on the Saturn Proxima is the conflict. So let's head there. Now, I know this is a Railjack mission, and some people don't like it. The first part is the Railjack part. Once you're done with that, you go in and do a regular fight. If anybody needs me to show off my Railjack mods and my build, leave a comment, and I'll do that. Alright, now that we've neutralized the 3 cruise ships and the enemy fighters, we can enter the galleon and fight our lich. And this is it, Tenno. A straight fight with your lich. And once downed, you go up to Mercy, and it'll give you 2 choices. Convert or Vanquish. Vanquish will give you the weapon, and Convert will allow you to trade the lich to another player. You will not receive the weapon, but you will receive the ephemera if you convert. If it has an ephemera, that is. We're going to vanquish this one, though. And once your lich is down, and everyone's lich is down if you're doing this with a group of people, you are ready to extract. Once you're done, you can head back to the dry dock. There's the ephemera from the lich. Leave your dry dock and head back to your ship or wherever you're staying. If you vanquish the lich, your weapon will be located in your foundry, and no matter what the MR level is, you can have it. And congratulations, Tenno. You've completed your lich. I hope this video helps, and I hope that I'll see more and more of you being able to do your liches and having fun doing it. Thank you for joining me, and if this is the first video you're seeing, check out my page for parts 1 through 3. Remember, Tenno, we all live together. See you in the next one.